And welcome to another entry into my Pokemon anime rewrite. But before we start, I thought I'd like to do a team recap. Ash has Pikachu, Butterfree, Mankey, Bulbasaur, and Charmander. Misty has Starmie, Poliwag, and Krabby. And Brock has Geodude, Onix, and Zubat. And without any further yapping, let us get on to the video! The episode begins with Ash and his friends walking along a path until they fall into a hole dug up by a patch of mischievous Squirtles. Ash climbs out of the hole and tries to battle them, but they scatter when Officer Jenny arrives. Officer Jenny explains that the Squirtle did a hostile takeover of Diglett's cave, likely due to being abandoned by their trainers. Ash, Brock, and Misty walk off. Meanwhile, Team Rocket tries to enjoy a picnic. But the Squirtle Squad, as Officer Jenny calls them, goes out to trap them, then ties them to a tree and eats their food. Meowth makes a deal with the Squirtle Squad to secure his release. We cut to Ash, Brock, and Misty fishing close to a place called Diglett's Cave. Ash seems to have a bite and reels in one of the Squirtle from earlier. Ash smirks and calls on Pikachu to battle, but looks to see that Pikachu is resting in an inner tube and drinking a lemonade. Ash sighs and sends out Butterfree and battles for Squirtle. At first, Butterfree is slapping Squirtle around like a ragdoll of confusion, but after a few confusion, two more Squirtle jump Butterfree and use Bite on his way. Squirtle Ash reeled in blasts Butterfree with a water gun, knocking him down, and Ash goes to check on Butterfree. Then Pikachu gets jumped by the Squirtle leader, one of the other Squirtle, and a Goldeen. Normally, Pikachu could easily knock them out, but he was caught off guard this time and slammed into the mud. Then out comes Team Rocket's Meowth to knock out Pikachu with a Fury Swipes. Meowth smirks and presses a switch, knocking a cage onto Ash, Brock, Misty, and Pikachu, allowing a group Diglett to drag them to the cave. After a while, Ash convinces the Squirtle to let him go. Time to get a super potion for Pikachu, while Meowth awaits Jesse and James to arrive so they can complete their plan. Ash makes his way through the Diglett cave with the help of Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Mankey. Eventually, Ash finds a Pokemart and tells the clerk that he needs a super potion. The clerk almost doesn't give it to him until Jesse and James attack and steal a bunch of stuff for their plan. Ash runs off with a super potion and uses Bulbasaur's Vine Whip as a way to zip line Diglett's cave to Pikachu faster. Ash makes it and frantically heals Pikachu. The leader Squirtle feels a bit surprised after seeing Ash care so much for a Pokemon. Suddenly, Team Rocket attacks and Meowth rejoins them, causing Pikachu, Bulbasaur, and Charmander to have to work together to take down Team Rocket. The lead Squirtle is inspired by this and decides to join Ash's team. The rest of the Squirtle join Officer Jenny to help with rescue. That wraps up the episode. Now on to the next one. The episode begins with Ash, Brock, and Misty finally arriving at Vermilion City. They take a rest at the Pokemon Center and are alarmed to see all the injured Pokemon. Nurse Joy explains these are the Pokemon that battled against Lieutenant Surge, the gym leader around here. Brock mentions having fought Lieutenant Surge before, losing despite his type advantage. Nurse Joy brings up that only 2 trainers in the past 3 months have been able to beat Lieutenant Surge. Ash stubbornly proclaims that it doesn't matter, but he's still gonna fight. Ash storms to the gym and sees Lieutenant Surge easily beating down another challenger with his trusty Raichu. The challenger turns out to be the samurai, and he curses Surge's name and promises to get his revenge. Surge just laughs at him and says, "Who's next?" Ash proclaims that he is. Misty looks terrified for him. Lieutenant Surge looks at Ash and calls him a baby that brought a baby Pokemon with him. Pikachu blows a raspberry at Surge's Raichu, and the Raichu blows one back. Surge accepts and says, "Let's get this over with, baby," and thus, the battle begins. Ash calls on Pikachu, and Surge calls on Raichu. Ash calls for Thunder Shock, which hits, but doesn't do much damage. Surge has Raichu respond with Mega Kick, which manages to hit hard, knocking Pikachu into a wall. Pikachu goes in for a quick attack, which trips up Raichu a bit, but it manages to counter Pikachu with a submission. Slams Pikachu hard into the ground. Pikachu is barely standing. Hits Raichu with a weak Thunder Shock, which Raichu shrugs off as Pikachu with Thunderbolt. Ash runs to check on him. Pikachu is barely standing. Ash rushes him to the Pokemon Center to heal. Brock and Misty are both worried about Ash and Pikachu. Ash feels guilty and apologizes to Pikachu for that loss. Nurse Joy offers a Thunderstone Maybe give Pikachu a boost. Ash offers a stone to Pikachu, but Pikachu doesn't want it. Pikachu wants to beat Raichu the way he is. So after Pikachu finishes healing, Ash and Pikachu spend the night training with his other Pokemon, and in the process, Pikachu manages to get a hang of a new move, Double Team. Ash has also found some notes about his battle with Surge, noticing Surge's Raichu only knows offensive moves, which gives Ash an idea. The next day, Brock and Misty are at a gym waiting for Ash to show up. Ash runs in with bags under his eyes, and Pikachu follows closely behind. Then Surge laughs at him and says, "Didn't you learn your lesson last time, baby?" Ash says, "Help and I'll show you that size doesn't matter." Lieutenant Surge says, "Kids like you wouldn't last a day in war." Sends out Raichu, and Pikachu jumps onto the battlefield. And thus, the rematch begins. Pikachu starts the battle by using Double Team, which surprises Raichu, who goes in for Mega. But the attack misses. Ash calls for Double Team once again, making more Pikachu doubles spawn around the battlefield. Then Surge calls for submission. Raichu ends up grabbing one of the doubles and slams it into the ground, still taking recoil damage. Ash capitalizes on this by calling for Quick Attack and knock Raichu into the wall. Raichu hits back with Thunderbolt, which Pikachu was able to reduce the damage of by using Thunder Wave as a shield. This surprises Surge and gets him pumped up for the battle. Surge has Raichu use Mega Kick to gain some height, and Ash has Pikachu use Double Team again. Surge smirks and calls for Raichu to use Thunderbolt on the ground, destroying most of a double. Being on his feet, Ash has Pikachu use Thunder Wave as a jump boost to bait Raichu into using Submission, which works. Raichu grabs onto Pikachu with Submission and gets ready to slam him into the ground, but Ash says, "Got you where I want you! Now Pikachu, use Quick Attack!" Pikachu grins and uses Quick Attack, two of them spinning into another wall, Raichu taking the brunt of the damage. Pikachu only getting a few scrapes. Raichu knocks Pikachu back with a surprise Thunderbolt, but Pikachu just takes the attack and charges Thundershock until it transforms into a mighty Thunderbolt and overloads Raichu, knocking him out, thus making Ash the winner. Hands Ash the badge and congratulates him, saying that he underestimated him, and that he wants to fight him again someday, and tells Brock to keep an eye on Ash and Misty because it's a rumor he heard about Team Rocket being nearby as the episode comes to a close. And sadly, that also concludes this video. I would have made it longer, but I had to do some rewrites for the SSN episodes. Anyway, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!